What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as I can never express how much it helps this channel. And before we do get into today's stories, I just want to thank some new members. We had 4 new members yesterday, which I'm blown away. Thank you so much for your support. We had Declan Rogers, Queen Cannabis, then over on Patreon, we had Sneck Prime and Elizabeth Morrish. Thank you so much for your love, your support, and time towards the channel. It means the absolute world, and you really do change things for me all the time, so thank you very, very much. Now let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now this first story comes from Am I the Arsehole 2021 July. Am I the arsehole for calling my sister-in-law out on leaving my house with my baby shower gifts and causing her to be shunned by my in-laws? Me, female 29, and my husband, male 32, are expecting our first baby together. In case it's relevant, my husband comes from a well-off family, while I come from a poor family. I'm not ashamed to say it, and I have a great family and I wouldn't replace them for all the money in the world. My in-laws are great too. They treat me good, save for my brother-in-law, Austin, who likes to point out how beneath his levels I am, although his wife comes from a poor family too, and they are also expecting. My sister planned a baby shower for me. It wasn't fancy, but affordable and great. My sister-in-law showed up empty-handed and criticized my baby shower party, up and down, and talked about how glamorous hers will be. She asked my sister how much the party cost her and joked that the dress she wore cost probably more. She was acting rude and arrogant to my family and friends, but none of my in-laws said anything. My sister put the gifts in the other room, and then we continued celebrating. After the party, my sister notified me that there were a number of gifts missing, including the one she brought. We looked around and couldn't find them. I checked the camera footage and saw my sister-in-law walking out with several gifts that were given to me by my own family and friends. I was fuming. I called to confront her and asked her to bring the gifts back, but she denied and was hurt that I accused her of stealing from me and said she'd tell the family about me lying when I insisted. I told her I have a video and have no problem involving the family too, to see who's at fault. She hung up and I waited, then shared the footage with all of my in-laws. It blew up and many of them shamed her for what she did and told her to give the stuff back. She still didn't respond, but Austin was livid and called to ask about the nonsense I fabricated about his wife, and called me gross with a wild imagination to even think that his wife would steal cheap gifts from my low-class family, much less have the gall to lie to his entire family about it and cause his wife to be publicly shamed and shunned. Mother-in-law was so upset too. She said I messed up and should have resolved this privately instead of going nuclear and ruining sister-in-law's relationship over a few gifts, and offered to pay for them if I take the post down. My husband was out of the country. She said she'd call him personally to tell him to handle me when I refused, and said just wait till he gets back. But he reacted differently. He even got into an argument with Austin and told him his wife was the cheap one for stealing this baby's stuff. I got my stuff back but haven't heard anything from my sister-in-law. Mother-in-law said sister-in-laws don't steal, she's better than that, and I shouldn't call it stealing, so she must have had another reason. She is on Austin and wife's side after he argued with my husband. I feel like I just drove a wedge in between my husband's family for this. It's one of those ones that we can come into straight away with that last line where it says, I just feel like I drove a wedge in my husband's family for this. And let's face it, no, you didn't drive a wedge in your husband's family. She did by stealing the gifts, being rude and obnoxious. And let's face it, you gave her a chance in this. You phoned her up beforehand before you went public with it. So absolutely not the arsehole to me. But Motel Tulsa says the nuclear option is calling the police and pressing charges. Sister-in-law got off easy. Not the arsehole. I'll be pulling that video up every holiday. Notice how the mother-in-law dropped her own variation of narcissist prayer in defense of sister-in-law. Thanks for all the awards. I don't get notifications in legacy mode. And Eileen I says not the arsehole and quotes, I feel like I just drove a wedge in my husband's family for this, and then says you didn't, her stealing did. You did what anyone would do, and you even gave her a chance to fess up privately before involving anyone else. And Scrap Queen says not the arsehole, not at all. She stole your baby's gifts. There's no excuse for that, and your mother-in-law enabling that behavior is disgusting. You gave her a private opportunity to right the wrong and she didn't take it. She screwed up more than once here. Kudos to your husband. And Bohabab77 says, not the arsehole. Your mother-in-law should be ashamed of supporting your sister-in-law. If she didn't want it to be made public, your sister-in-law should have returned the gifts as easily as she stole them. Keep far from them. I consider it a blessing to be rid of them before giving birth. You don't need any of these people around your child. And we'll have one more from Darkling Hate says, not the arsehole. Your sister-in-law, who I suggest you cut off and never allow into your home again, caused a rift with her theft of your stuff. Never feel bad for calling out people for illegal activities, especially when you have video evidence of the theft. I agree with your mother-in-law about resolving it though. You should have called the cops and handed the footage to them of the theft and let them recover your stolen property and put her in jail where she belongs. I sincerely hope you press charges against her. Also, the ones claiming she didn't steal from your baby shower should also be entirely cut out and not allowed into your home. There's nothing stopping them from doing the same since they find their behavior acceptable. When that comment said about resolving it, I was like, what? But then he turned it around. Fair enough. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Cat's Deli. Am I the arsehole for saying that someone else's kid's allergy isn't my problem and leaving the restaurant? So to celebrate my son's graduation, and with most people around here being vaccinated, I took the family to the local hibachi for some dinner. I hope I got the name right. I do apologize if it's wrong. My family of 4 sits down and soon we are joined by another family of 4. They are nice enough, and when the time comes to order, the father says that one of his daughters has a dairy allergy and asks that our food be made without butter. The waitress says no problem, we will make everyone's without butter. The father says her allergy isn't that serious and as long as her serving has no dairy, it should be fine. The waitress repeats, we'll make all the food at the table without butter. I say that we would like butter with ours. She replies, sorry, at Hibachi we make all the food together and we cannot risk her getting sick, so all the food needs to be made without butter. I reply that we're not even together, plus I say you can make her food in the back, there is no rule that the food needs to be made together. The father agrees with me and says they do it all the time. At this point the waitress says they are very busy and they can't do that. So I got up and said, we're leaving because someone else's allergy should not affect my dining experience. Then we went to a different hibachi restaurant 10 minutes away. My wife says that I was an a-hole because I ruined my son's graduation dinner and should be more thoughtful to the girl's needs. Plus, now the other restaurant has lost a reservation. My point is that the girl's needs could have been met in other ways by the restaurant. Plus, my son likes his butter. Yeah, I think I'm totally with OP on this one. Even the other father agreed with you in this, saying, they do it all the time kind of thing. If I go out to a restaurant, I expect it to be a nice experience because obviously I'm paying for that food. I'm going out to have a nicer experience than my cooking. So I'm kind of expecting what I pay for, what I see on the menu. And if they're taking an ingredient out of that, something I particularly like, yeah, I don't think I'd be eating there either. And I'm not playing down the girl's allergies or anything like that because she should be getting what she requests as well. So not the arsehole to me, but hello all, goodbye all says not the arsehole. Even the father agreed with you. The staff were just avoiding having to do 2 lots of cooking. And V2 Den says not the arsehole. The only arsehole here is the waitress. The father of the other family was fine with all the suggestions you gave. I say you should also follow up with the restaurant through social media or phone or email. And 4thanks says not the arsehole. It's standard to cook only the person with the allergies food separately. Why should everyone be punished and pay for something they don't want? And sick of driving says not the arsehole. Even the father agreed with you. Sounds like the waitress didn't want to be bothered. An evocative enigma says not the arsehole. The cook here handled that very poorly if they think everyone should have to be made to cater to one person with allergies. And she just didn't want to deal with it by making a separate trip. You had a right to ask for your food to be made correctly, just as much as they had the right to ask for their kids to be made separately. Now, what would you do if you found yourself in that situation? Someone in the restaurant and that you was having a similar meal had an allergy to one of the ingredients and the restaurant wanted to pull that ingredient from all that batch cooking in one night. How would you react? Would you mind that at all? Let me know in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Conflict Coworker. Am I the arsehole for not leaving the break room so my coworker could have a therapy session? Been working at this shop for 2 years. It's been less of us since COVID, usually only like 3 or 4 of us in the morning until late afternoon. I'll, 25 male, be honest, this week was tiring as hell. I have a 5-month-old son with my girlfriend and getting him to sleep has been a challenge this week. With both of us taking turns at night, I've only gotten about 4 hours sleep on average, so today I was effing exhausted. Just praying for my lunch break so I could head to the break room for a nap. One of my co-workers, Angela, who usually works till closing, was already there, but her shift wasn't starting for like half an hour, I think. She asked me if I could just take my lunch outside on the bench because she's about to start a video call therapy session. It was 84 degrees outside today. I told her I'm tired, my baby had me up all night, and honestly I'm just trying to nap, so don't worry about me hearing anything. I even showed her my headphones since I'm listening to ambient music when I sleep. So it's really not as if I was going to listen in on her. Angela was getting mad though, since she didn't feel comfortable talking about anything confidential with me around. So I said, okay, then go outside and have your session. She didn't want to, for the same reasons. I didn't, and kept telling me to stop being a dick, that it's for her mental health. I was already irritated, this was wasting my time, so I just sat down on one of the chairs away from her. Told her to do whatever she wants, turned up my music and went to sleep. Did hear the door slamming a minute later, so yeah, she did leave. Now Angela stayed mad at me all day, telling me I was so inconsiderate for not helping her make the therapy session go easier for her. Yeah, I didn't help, but at the same time I just wanted to rest. Still not sure if that means I was an arsehole though. Nope, and whilst I respect anyone who's getting therapy for mental health issues, I think that's always a fantastic thing. I don't think you can expect people to cater to you all the time, and a break room at work, no, you can't expect everyone to leave the break room when you've got a therapy session. You find somewhere else to do it for yourself. In some ways, it's inconsiderate of her to ask you to leave the break room when you're tired and all that kind of stuff as well. You know, we've all got our own issues. But PPMD says, not the arsehole, the break room is a shared space. If she wants privacy, she can head somewhere else. Asking others to leave is rude. And Squishy Squish 9 says, not the arsehole. Break rooms are for breaks for the workers to eat and rest. Plus, if she was early, she would have done the session at home before coming to work. Danny Big D says, not the arsehole. It's everyone's break room. If she wants privacy, she needs to go to a private location. Seems like she is the arsehole. And Maggie Persecution says, not the arsehole. Who expects privacy in a work break room? And Crazy Kitty Cat Lady says, not the arsehole. Your work's break room is not a personal office. She should have gone outside, sat in her car, done the session at home, plenty of options. If she continues to make a big deal of this, I'll speak with HR and your boss. Also, as a parent to 3 kids myself, getting a nap after a long night of not sleeping does wonders for mental health. And Sparkling Reject says, she doesn't have exclusive rights to what is a shared space for all employees. She should have gone outside or even into her car if she wanted to be alone. Now, what would you do if you was in that situation? You went to the break room and someone asked you to leave because they had a therapy session coming up. How would you feel about it and how would you react? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Throw Away No Job. Am I the arsehole for not wanting my daughter to work an underpaid summer job? So me, 49 male, and my wife, 44 female, recently had a heated argument about our daughter's 18 female right to work. In particular, she wants to go on a holiday with her boyfriend and some other friends this September. She started looking for a job in June, eventually got an offer from a hotel for serving breakfast in the morning together with one other friend of hers. To me, this would be perfectly fine if it wasn't for the fact that the pay is literally $4 an hour. We're not based in the US, so this is not as bad as it may seem. The average pay here is lower, but it's still not acceptable. My daughter would like to get this job since by working 6 days a week each morning, she would still be able to save enough for the vacation. But I don't want her to do so for basically 3 reasons. I want my daughter to know she is worth way more than $4 an hour, no matter what she is told. I don't want the arsehole hiring her to have free employees. I don't want my family to contribute to the general trend of devaluating labour. Of course, I did not veto her holiday. I immediately told her she just needs to find another job which pays a fair amount, and that if she does not find anything better, I will just give her twice the amount she would have earned at this job. Both me and my wife have really good jobs, so we can easily afford that, and I'm proud enough of her just because she didn't ask for a dime and chose the hard way instead. My wife, on the other hand, believes that it's not fair to her friend to just give my daughter the money as a gift, and I can see her point, but I would still prefer my daughter not to be exploited by some scumbag that only thinks about personal profit. Am I the arsehole? Edit. Many people are pointing out that I am an arsehole for forcing my daughter out of the job. Well, I straightforward did not do that. I just told her that she does not need to face this, as I got her back if she runs out of alternatives. Moreover, my daughter is not interested in this specific job at all. She just wants the money. She was indeed very happy when I offered her this other alternative, and she is already looking for something better. The reason I came here is that my wife told me I am not being fair to her friend, who had to accept that crappy job. Although I'm working on this and may have found them a $7 an hour job as receptionist at my company. Now, without the edit coming involved, I was thinking that no one's an arsehole here, and I was looking at both sides really. I can totally get that OP doesn't want his daughter to be exploited anyway, being paid $4 an hour for hard work. But the other side I can see, daughter is working for herself, for a holiday for herself. She appreciated it much more, she appreciated the money much more, and she'll get some real valuable work experience as well, and see what it's like in different industries. That's the way I've grown up. I've worked some real shit jobs in the past, but I've got real great work experience and a varied selection of jobs that gets me into pretty much most places. Not bragging or anything, but again, going back again, I can totally see why OP wouldn't want his daughter to have to suffer through it at the same time. So I'm really conflicted. I'm going to go with a no one's an arsehole here just on this one because I'm having trouble deciding. But let's see what the comments say to see if they can clear anything up. And 9OKM says, soft jaw the arsehole. Let her work with her friend. Most of us have worked crappy low paying jobs when we were 18. I don't think it's a devaluing experience you think it is. And P42 says, you're the arsehole. Learning the value of money is important. Seeing firsthand how hard it is for others who are not fortunate enough to have wealthy families is a great life lesson. And Nefariousness Glum says, you're the arsehole if you just tell her she can't take this job without having a job lined up that pays more. Let her learn the value of work. She might get a week into it and realise it is far more than $4 an hour is worth, and put in the time to find something better. She needs to lean and figure it out for herself rather than her mummy and daddy just giving her money. And Counting Pickle says no one's an arsehole here. I can see the both sides of the coin. She's definitely worth more than $4 an hour. I'm not sure how where you live is faring with a pandemic versus job availability, but it could be slim pickings for labour. I think she should definitely look for something else, but failing that, why not compromise? Let her develop her work ethic and skills, and match her earnings in a secret account. That way you're helping her save, and she can put it on her resume. I think the arsehole in this story is the jerk passing such a low rate. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that. Now, what do you guys think of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to another story. And our next story comes from ConRVD saying, am I the arsehole? I got a neck tattoo and my girlfriend is giving me the silent treatment. My girlfriend and I have been together for right about a year, but have known each other and been good friends for about 5. She's been my transition from having virgin untouched skin to my current state of what some people would start to think as heavily tattooed. I've always said I wanted to be head to toe for the most part aside from heavy face, maybe 1 or 2, but she has contested at the face at all and pretty hard stance on the neck. So yesterday was my day off and a friend hit me up asking if I wanted to hang out, possibly get a tattoo. Of course I was down, haven't got a new piece in about a year because of COVID. There is this drawing my girlfriend did when we first started officially dating, and I always joked that I was going to get that tatted. When I would talk about it, I would float the idea of either getting it on my neck, behind my ear, or on my arm. She would of course protest, but also be kinda blush because I knew she would like it. So when I kind of just said fuck it and went through with it, she had no idea I got it and came back home, acting normally. She didn't even notice for 15 minutes till I pretty much pointed it out. When I did, she was smiling big and red, but then after the initial shock, she went into silent mode. Pretty much didn't talk to me all night, and this morning, aside from a few mopes around the apartment. Her stance is that I disregarded her feelings and did it in spite of her. My stance is, I've always wanted this, it's not super noticeable. She very clearly likes it. It's not the placement, but won't admit it, and is being dramatic about the whole ordeal. So am I really being inconsiderate and the arsehole, or is she just being dramatic and this will blow over? Edit, I feel like I'm really ruffling some feathers about the artwork itself. 1, she gave me permission to use the artwork. 2, she admitted she likes tattoo, just not on my neck. And we'll start with Maggie Netism saying, I'm going with you all the arsehole just because you keep saying she clearly likes something she's telling you she doesn't. That just feels super disrespectful to me. And given that she's in silent mode and keeps saying she doesn't like it, it's weird you keep saying she does, and sort of dismissive of her as a person. You can do what you want with your body, but I can never vote that a dude who keeps insisting his girlfriend feels X way instead of Y way when she's telling him isn't an arsehole. So you're an arsehole for that part. Also, you need to ask an artist for permission before using their artwork like that in my opinion, so yeah, she does have a say in how her own drawings are used. And Animal Lime says, you're the arsehole not for getting the tattoo, but for how you went about it. You knew she wouldn't like a neck tattoo, so you thought the best course of action would be to not even give her a heads up and just randomly get one anyway. It sounds like you never considered her feelings at all in any of this, and I'm not really buying the whole she would kind of blush like I knew she would like it, especially since she's already made her dislike clear. It's your body, your choice, but I'm not even letting her know what you were doing makes you an arsehole. And Librick says, soft, you're the arsehole, it's your body and you're free to get tattoos anywhere you want, but you did get her drawing on a part of your body that she repeatedly told you she wasn't okay with. It also seems like you're trying to interpret her body language so you get your way instead of actually listen to what she's saying. Regardless, you'll need to work on your communication with each other or stuff like this is going to keep happening. And we'll have one more from NoRxN who says, so I feel like this is actually kind of manipulative towards your girlfriend. From the post in your comments, it's clear that you had permission from her to use her art from your tattoo. But she's also made it insanely clear she does not like the idea of you getting tattoos on your neck and face. So what do? You use her art in an area you know she won't like. Basically, you took something that was important to both of you and you put it in the one area she's asked you not to. If this is really about respecting this image that's so important to both of you, why do it in the one place that's disrespectful to her? You can get tattoos anywhere you want, including your neck and face, but doing that with an image that is important to her after she made her opinion clear is really messed up. You're the arsehole, and honestly, you sound exhausting. Like, do you even respect her opinion at all? She keeps telling you she doesn't like this, and you keep saying over and over, I know she secretly likes it. You need to listen to her. You know how you said she smiled and turned red? People smile in anger all the time, especially if they're brought up to be polite no matter what, and people also flush when angry too. Ugh, the way you talk about her honestly makes me really upset. Now, what would you do in this situation if your partner did this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and your verdicts on all of today's stories if you choose to share them. Never any pressure though. And just a huge thank you for the support towards the channel and letting me know what you're up to whilst listening. As I say, like pretty much every video, that I love knowing what you're up to. Like, some people crocheting, some people drawing, some people going and doing a bit of exercise. And I said we've had some truckers on here as well, listening, going across the country. I just find it mind-blowing, you know. And I know it's going to sound really cheesy that my voice is on all these different little places. It just fills me with warmth. Thank you so much for your love, support and time towards the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.